Chapter 8, Going Global. Global, adjective, throughout the world, refers to expanding one's market beyond the immediate area of production. On Saturday morning, Jessie slept in, and even when she opened her eyes at 9:05, she still felt tired. How can I wake up so tired? She wondered as she buried her face in the pillow and dozed off. 5 minutes later, when she was awake for real, remembering why she was so tired. Yesterday's lemonade stand had been the hardest work of her life. Face painting, hair braiding, nail polishing. It sounded like such a good idea. Jessie had been sure that every kid in the neighborhood would like to buy up for a cup of lemonade. But that was the problem. Every kid had lined up for lemonade. Then wanted face painting and hair braiding and fingernail polishing and toenail polishing. One boy asked for face painting on both cheeks, both arms, and his stomach. One girl begged for lots of little braids with ribbons woven in. And the nail polishing. Oh, they all wanted different colors and details. It was impossible to get them to sit still long enough for the polish to dry. "We're going to run out of lemonade," Megan had said to Jessie at noon. As the line stretched all the way down the street, "Pour half cups instead of full ones," whispered Jessie. "It has to last." Jessie and Megan had each made $24 on lemonade, but they had worked 8 hours to do it, and at the end of the day they agreed. A good idea, but not worth it. After breakfast, Jessie pulled out her lockbox and sat on her bed. She kept the box hidden in her closet on a shelf under some sweaters. She kept the key in a plastic box in her desk drawer. The plastic box was disguised to look exactly like a pack of gum. You would never know that it was hollow, and it had a secret sliding panel on its side. Jessie unlocked the box and opened the lid. First, she took out 3 torn-up slips of paper. There was one for value added and one for goodwill. There was also one that Jessie had added last night. Profit margin. Sales less all operating costs divided by a number of sales. The result is a ratio. For example, if it costs you $300 to make 100 hats and you sell those hats for $500, the profit margin is 500 minus 30 divided by 10 equals 2/1. Jessie lined up all 3 scraps of paper on the bed beside her. She wasn't sure why she was saving these words, but she felt like they belonged in her lockbox. Next, she took out her lemonade earnings. Every day, Megan had squealed over how much money they'd made, but every day, Jessie had known, it's not enough. It's not going to be enough to win. Jessie counted the money. So far, they had earned $40. It was a lot of money, but it wasn't nearly enough. She still needed to earn $60 more, and today it was Saturday. Only 2 more selling days before she and Evan had counted their earnings on Sunday night. How was she going to sell enough lemonade to earn $60 in 2 days? She couldn't. That was the problem. No kid could earn $100 in just 5 days by selling lemonade. The profit margin was too small. She knew because she had used her calendar to figure it out last night. The numbers said it all. There was no way for 2 girls in one neighborhood could sell 375 cups of lemonade. Nobody wanted that much lemonade, no matter how hot the day was. Jessie looked at the money in her lockbox and the page of calculations on her desk. Any other kid would have to quit, but Jessie wasn't a quitter. On good days, Jessie's mom called her persistent. On bad days, she told her she just didn't know when enough was enough. Jessie reached for 10 bright ideas to light up your sails. It was beside her bedside table, right next to Charlotte's Web. Jessie's hand hovered. She looked longingly at Wilbur and Fern watching Charlotte hanging by a thread. But this was war, and she couldn't stop to read for fun. She grabbed the booklet and opened to bright idea number 6. An hour later, she had a new scrap of paper stashed in her lockbox and a whole new page of calculations on her desk. It might work. It could work. But she and Megan would have to risk everything they earned over the past 3 days. And Jessie would have to be braver than she... would have to be braver than she had ever been in her entire life. Jessie carried her lockbox and calculations downstairs. She went into the kitchen and pulled to the school's directory. scanning the names of all the third grade girls from last year. She knew them all. From Evan, from recess, from the lunchroom. Knew who they were, knew their faces, which ones were nice, which ones were not so nice. But she didn't really know them. Not enough to call them up. Not enough to say, do you want to do something today? Not enough to ask, would you like to have a lemonade stand with me? These girls were going to be her classmates. Jessie felt her face grow hot and her upper lip start to sweat. What was it going to feel like to walk into the classroom the first day of school with all those eyes looking at her? Would they stare? Would they tease? Would they ignore her, even if she said hi? Jessie looked at the names, then slammed the directory shut. She couldn't do it. She just wasn't brave enough. Evan walked into the kitchen and grabbed an apple from the fruit bowl. A cloud of fruit flies rose up into the air and settled again. Evan inspected the apple and then bit into it without washing it first. Jessie wanted to say something, but held her tongue. She looked at him and thought, it is never going to feel normal, not talking to Evan. Hey, she said. Evan raised his apple to her, his mouth too stuffed to talk. So, is Paul coming over today? She asked. Evan shook his head, munching noisily. Well, is anyone coming over? Jessie was curious to see what the enemy was up to today. Yesterday, Evan Smiley had told her plenty. He had sold a lot of lemonade. A lot. But what was he going to do today? Evan shrugged his shoulders. He swallowed so hard it looked like he was choking down an ocean liner. But are you setting up a stand? Right? Asked Jessie. Nah, I'm good, said Evan, looking closely at his apple. I'm just going to take it easy today. He took another enormous bite and walked out of the kitchen and down the basement stairs. Take it easy? How could you take it easy? You didn't take it easy when you were in the middle of war. Unless he had already won the war. Could that be possible? There was no way Evan had earned $100 in only 3 days of selling lemonade. No way. Jessie's mind skittered like one of those long-legged birds on the beach. Had he? Could he? Where were her calculations wrong? Were there some other way? Had she overlooked some detail? Some trick? Some missing something? Jessie flipped to open the school directory. Maybe he had $100. Maybe he didn't. Maybe she couldn't take a chance. She started putting pencil check marks next to the names of girls she thought might work out. She'd gone over the list twice when the doorbell rang. It was Megan. I got a new idea, said Jessie. Oh, not more lemonade, said Megan, sinking into the couch in the family room. I'm tired of selling lemonade. It's just too hot. I practically had sunstroke yesterday painting all those faces. We're done with that, said Jessie. No more extra services. It doesn't pay off. But here's an idea. Forget lemonade. Let's go to 7-Eleven, said Megan. Is Evan even home? We could all go together. No, he's not home, said Jessie, eyeing the door to the basement. She needed Megan to be on board with her plan. She needed Megan to make the phone calls. Look, this is great, and we don't need to sell the lemonade. Jessie laid out all the details. She showed Megan the new scrap of paper. Franchise. The right to sell a company's products and use the company's name and its logo in a certain area. Then she showed Megan her page of calculations. At first, Megan buried her head under a pillow. But then she poked her head out like a turtle and started to listen for real. That sounds like a pretty good plan, she said. But is it really going to work out? Jessie looked at her calculations. She'd done them twice. It should, she said. I really think it should. She frowned, suddenly not so sure of herself. It's a big upfront investment and a lot of work organizing it for everybody. But once they're all set up, we should just be able to sit back and watch the money roll in. The key is spreading everybody out so there will be plenty of customers. We need at least 10 girls. 15 would be better. That's the whole 4th grade class, said Megan, looking doubtful. How are we going to get them all to do this? Well, you could phone them all up, said Jessie. She handed Megan the school directory. Open to the 3rd grade page. Me, said Megan. Why me? Because they know you, said Jessie. They know you too. Yeah, but they like you. Megan shook her head. Not all these girls are my friends. And the ones who aren't your friends, they'll still like you. Everybody likes you, Megan. Megan looked embarrassed. Oh, everybody likes you too, she said. No, they don't, said Jessie. They really don't. There was an uncomfortable silence between the two girls. Then Jessie shrugged her shoulders and said, I don't know why those girls in my class last year didn't like me. I'm hoping this year will be better. Megan tapped her fingers on her knees. You're nervous, huh? About 4th grade? She asked. Jessie thought hard. I'm worried that I won't make any new friends, she said. You know that the kids will think I'm just some punny 2nd grader in that. She took a deep breath. I don't belong. Megan looked up at the ceiling for a minute. Do you have an index card? She asked. Huh?